Welcome to the Holistically Humble podcast. I'm your host, Katie, a registered holistic nutritionist, a yoga teacher, and a wellness enthusiast, passionate about helping you thrive. This podcast is your space to explore holistic health, nervous system regulation, mindful living, and the tools that empower you to create a balance in your body, mind, and soul. Whether you're here to deepen your wellness journey, find inspiration, or discover practical tips to live a healthier, more intentional life, you are in the right place. My mission is to simplify wellness, spark meaningful conversations, and help you reconnect with your authentic self. Let's dive in and create a life that feels as good as it looks. Welcome to the Holistically Humble community. Welcome to the first podcast episode of 2025. I am honestly so grateful you're here and listening to this episode. So happy New Year, especially if you're listening to this episode on the 1st of January. I have had it be a goal of mine to video the podcast for probably over 6 months now. I think even if you listen back to like episodes in maybe May or June, I either speak about or write in the description of a podcast episode that a goal of mine is to have video recorded podcast episodes. And I've been really listening to this one girl, Alicia Goggins, and she does the Glow Up Secret podcast. And I've been really loving watching her on YouTube. And I'm like, okay, well, if I'm really liking watching the video version of this podcast, then this is my sign. This is my sign. I have to just do it and hop on here and start with what I have, which is a computer. And you're on my computer. I have this amazing microphone that I got last Christmas, actually, from my mother and father-in-law. And I'm just utilizing what I have. And honestly, just to be upfront and honest, I have like a ring light right here. My background, we're just starting out with what I have. And I'm just grateful to be here and show this episode to you if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you are the OGs anyways, because I started this podcast in November of 2023. So it's been over a year now. And I only did the audio version. So I see you if that's how you are listening to this podcast episode. You know, that's how I often listen to podcasts. But anyways, I will link the podcast that inspired me to get on here and do the video in the description so you can check her out. She has really great topics as well. And I think, why gatekeep? Why not share the love and spread the love? And maybe even if you want to comment on this video, if you're watching it on YouTube, your favorite podcast episodes or podcast hosts or whatever. And if you're listening on Spotify, I think you can comment. I'm not sure about Apple Podcasts. If you can, go ahead and comment your favorite podcast. But regardless, you're here, you're listening to me, or you're watching me as the first Holistically Humble video recorded option for the podcast. It is New Year's Day, 2025, when you are watching this or listening to this episode, and welcome to the new year, my friend. 2025, it's going to be an amazing year, and I want you to affirm it. So say out loud right now, if you can, if you don't feel weird, otherwise silently in your mind, 2025 is an amazing year. And you're just saying that because we are manifesting that. And speaking of manifesting, I actually have a new ebook called Manifest Your Dream Life, and I will link it in the show notes so you can check it out. It's $11.11, yours to keep, and it's full of information on how to manifest, what manifesting is, writing down what you actually want, like getting clear on what you actually want to manifest in life, and so much more. So make sure you check that out, and let's dive into this episode. So I don't know if you've been seeing the trends, but it's kind of like what's out and what's in for 2025. So I thought that would be a great episode to start off the new year 2025 with. So let's dive into it. The first in of 2025 is nervous system regulation. You may have been hearing this left, right, and center, and it's definitely something that I've been posting on my social media. So I just want to talk about it. What is nervous system regulation? Oftentimes, whether you know it or not, we are living in our fast paced world society nowadays in our sympathetic nervous system state, which is fight, flight, and freeze. And so you might feel as though you are constantly rushing from one thing to the other, even if it is just doing your dishes or laundry or something like that, or getting ready for your workday. And you just find yourself like really rushing around, or you find that your jaw is really sore because you're clenching it during the day or at night. You may find, I don't know about you, but I'll find that during the day, if I'm checking in with how I'm feeling, my shoulders are like up here. And I'm like, I'm fine, everything's fine. But it's just a state of your nervous system to protect you from what it thinks is dying or something chasing you or something you need to get away of and away from. And we need to practice nervous system regulation to get out of the sympathetic nervous system state and into our parasympathetic nervous system. So our parasympathetic nervous system is the route of rest, digest, and repair. And that is where we should be living on a daily basis. However, if you are someone who is living in that chronic state of fight or flight, that sympathetic nervous system, area that you're constantly living in, this is important for you to do. Nervous system regulation is very important for you to do and practice. And so some things that I could offer for you to do or look up or research would be somatic therapies. You could do gentle yoga. You could do what's called emotional freedom technique tapping, EFT tapping. There are exercises that you could do for your vagus nerve, which is a huge nerve in your body, to help you get into that parasympathetic nervous system state. And honestly, there's so much more. And so if you're interested or you're like, this is me, I'm constantly living in a state of fight or flight or a stressed out feeling in your body and mind, then nervous system regulation is in, okay? It's time to dive deeper into that and actually put those practices into your daily routine. The second in for 2025 is personalized nutrition. And I want to be clear about this because everyone is different. But if I was to recommend anything to you, and I am a registered holistic nutritionist, it would be to focus on your gut health. And you may have heard this before, your gut is actually your second brain. A lot of neurotransmitters for your brain are created in your gut. And let's just be upfront and honest, my friend. We are more bacteria than we are human. Let me say that again. We are more bacteria than we are human. And so what that means is we have 10 bacteria in our body for every one human cell. We have a lot of human cells. So we have even more bacteria, and it can be in balance, which is known as symbiosis, but it can also become out of balance, which is dysbiosis. So we do have bacteria, we have fungi, we have yeast, and when they all are functioning together, it's symbiotic. It's working in one cohesive unit, okay? We're healthy when we're doing that. But however, again, if you're living in a constant state of fight or flight, that sympathetic nervous system state, then honestly, your gut bacteria and your gut health is going to be thrown off because your body is not paying attention on digesting the food that you're eating or utilizing the nutrients that you're putting into your body, because it is putting all of the energy out to the extremities of the body to get you the frick away from what you think or what it thinks that you're running from or that you're in danger from. And so when you actually do personalized nutrition and focus on your gut health to start, I would highly suggest talking to a holistic nutritionist. So you can definitely book a free consultation with me, or maybe you have someone that you're already working with. And then in which case I would definitely bring up gut health and see how you might be able to support your gut that way. There are many diets out there that you can follow. Personally, right now, I am on what's called the autoimmune paleo protocol. It is like the paleo diet. However, it does have more restrictions. So just a brief overview of this, and I can dive deeper into a different episode. If you're interested in that, let me know in the comments or send me a message on Instagram. I'll put my social media in the show notes so you can do that as well. But the autoimmune paleo protocol is eating meat, so grass-fed meats, free-range chicken, poultry, good quality fish, so not farmed fish, but fresh fish, wild salmon, things like that. And then it is also doing fresh fruits, lots of berries focused, and then some vegetables, especially steamed vegetables. So right now I'm honestly only consuming like a sweet potato, steamed broccoli, and carrot. And then also fermented foods. So that again is focusing on gut health as well. So I'm doing sauerkraut. I've been doing the sauerkraut that is from cabbage. I'm also doing sauerkraut that's it's beet and ginger. You can make your own, which I highly recommend you do. Otherwise, you can buy it store bought. But if you're doing the fermented foods like sauerkraut or kimchi, make sure you're buying it in the refrigerator section of your store, not the shelf stable stuff, okay? The refrigerator section, sauerkraut and kimchi, will be where you're going to get the most beneficial bacteria in your gut. I'm also doing no grains, dairy, soy, nuts. And so it's a journey, but it's worth it. And again, I can dive deeper into that if you're interested. However, if this is sparking any interest in you, I would definitely suggest looking at how to promote really good gut health in you, and then see kind of where that lands. I know that when I very, very first started my wellness journey, I went into the paleo diet, which again includes eggs, it includes nuts and seeds, it includes maybe some grains, I can't really remember, but find a specific diet that you feel like is going to work with you, or that you're working with a nutritionist on. And that is going to help support your gut health, which in turn will support your brain health, which in turn will support like your overall health in general. So personalized nutrition is in for 2025. Number 3 of an in for 2025 is slow wellness and intentional living. I want to say that less is more. So we want to get out of that chronic state of go, 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 and really start to intentionally slow down. This may be hard for you. It is hard for me most of the times, but it's something that you train yourself to get better at, okay? This will be maybe reading a book, especially when you're falling asleep at night and not scrolling on devices, putting the phone away or the device away, setting the mood, lighting a candle or two, putting on more dim lights, maybe wearing blue light blocking glasses, and reading a book, and allow yourself to get tired and fall asleep that way. It could be maybe you go on a walk and you don't listen to anything, but you listen to the sounds around you. Especially, I highly suggest this going out in nature and listening to the rushing river, the rain hitting the trees, any animal noises like birds chirping, or the rustling of the leaves from the wind, or just being intentional on your walk and not just listening to a podcast, although I highly suggest this podcast, but just being intentional with what you're doing. A really good thing is mindfulness while eating. So choosing one meal a day where you're not distracted, you're not commuting in your car or on a bus or a train or something like that. You are not scrolling or watching TV or talking to someone while you're eating this meal, but you're actually just sitting with the meal and savoring each bite and feeling the textures in your mouth and just being more mindful that way. And when we do this, we'll slow down, we'll have that slow wellness, intentional living, and that will also help your nervous system regulate. So you're kind of getting two for one there, okay? So slow wellness and intentional living is in. Seasonal alignment is in for 2025. That would be the next one. And so right now, as you're watching this, we've just entered winter. And what does nature teach us to do in winter, or show us to do? Slow the fuck down, okay? Hibernate, move slowly, not be in this like go, go, go hustle culture. So yes, you might be watching this on January 1st or in January sometime, and all this shit is going on about New Year's resolutions. What are your goals? Be healthy, go to the gym, all of this stuff. Like, we shouldn't necessarily be doing all of these things in the fucking dead of winter, okay? We should be slowing down, planting the seeds for what we want to do, and having those come about in more of the springtime. So like March time, I'm talking about, I live in Canada, so it's winter, and you just don't need to set all of these crazy New Year's resolutions in the dead of winter. Okay. Seasonal living in the winter time would be slowing down, would be setting the mood with candles when the sun has gone down at like 5 p.m., maybe changing some light bulbs to red light. You might wear blue light blocking glasses or red light glasses to really help your circadian rhythm. You would eat warming foods. Like in the winter times, you could think like soups and stews and teas and warmer foods, warming spices, things like that. And then if you were in the springtime or summertime, live like that. So in the summertime here, I live in Vancouver Island, Canada. In the summertime, we have an abundance of things, especially when you buy them at the local farmers markets. And so eating that way, so eating right now would be like a lot of squashes, potatoes, root vegetables. And then in the summertime would be more like berries and fresh fruit and carrots and kale and fresh vegetables and things like that. So just seasonal living, I want you to really embrace and have that be an in for 2025. The last thing that I would put on the in list for this episode is functional beauty. I love this. I've been implementing things such as ice rolling in the mornings. I have an ice roller. I will link it. It's in my Amazon storefront. I'll link it in the description. Super easy and effective. You put the little ice roller thing in the freezer. You have the handle. You put them together in the morning. Ice roll your face. Such a great way to like invigorate yourself and have an ice cold thing on your face in the morning. I just feel like wakes you up and it makes me feel really good. So I hope it makes you feel really good. You could also try things like gua sha. I will also link that down below in the description. It's so amazing for lymphatic drainage of your neck and your face. It can help reduce fine lines and wrinkles and honestly so much more. You could consume collagen supporting foods or taking a collagen supplement for your skin. That would be such a beneficial thing to add. You can get marine collagen, which is from fish. You can get bovine collagen, which is from cows. And you can look up other things in terms of collagen and how you might be wanting to consume that. Another great way to consume like minerals, vitamins, collagen would be bone broth. And I highly suggest making your own or getting a really good quality bone broth. So if you're doing beef bone broth, making sure it's from grass-fed cows, and then you have organic veggies in there like organic garlic, celery, carrots, those kinds of things. And then if you're doing chicken broth, it would be free-range chicken that you're getting that from. I know I already said it in gua sha, but lymphatic drainage in general is great for your neck and your face, but also doing things such as legs up the wall can also assist you in functional beauty. I would also look to limit the chemical exposure you're putting on your skin. Our skin is the largest organ in our body, and to be functional with your beauty, making sure to limit how much toxins you're putting on your body. So that might be taking a hard look at the makeup you use, the body creams, the soaps, anything you're going to put on your skin, right? Your face cleansers, all your skincare, and just start slow, but switch it to non-toxic and really beneficial things for your skin. So that concludes my 2025 in list for this year. And now we're going to talk about what's out. What's out for 2025? The first one would be overcomplicated detoxes, okay? There's so much information out there and it can be overwhelming. And one day you hear this and the other day you hear this and they're conflicting and you've already started this one, but you want to try this one and it's just too much. It's too much on your body. It's too much on your mind. So what I just want you to get out is those overcomplicated detoxes, okay? Start with what I said in what's in. So like the seasonal living or getting out of chronic state of fight or flight would be something that I would focus on instead of trying to be super restrictive or only drinking water and doing a dry fast, taking freaking parasites supplements, doing a parasite cleanse, like all of that. Just let it go. Okay. Those are out for 2025. This one is so important. What is out for 2025 is hustle culture and wellness. So maybe you have been on the grind of go, go, go and business equals success. No, That's out for 2025. We want slow, intentional living. We want slow wellness. We want to nourish ourselves from the inside out and just be intentional, right? We don't want to like keep going to what? To prove to other people that like we're good enough? No. No. That is out. We don't need to do that. We need to actually slow down and practice what's in. Again, that's nervous system regulation, slow wellness, intentional living, functional beauty, all of those things, and just let go of that hustle culture. It's not serving anyone anymore. You're actually doing better if you slow down. Wellness overload is another thing that's out for 2025. There's too many apps, gadgets, tools, and they're just leading to burnout. It's too much. Get rid of it, simplify things, focus on your goals, your needs, that slowness again. As you can see, this is the theme, right? We're being slow and we're being intentional with what we're doing in our lives, okay? We're going to get rid of the wellness overload. The last thing that I would say is out for 2025 is fear-based marketing in health. I don't know about you, but there was a part in my wellness journey where I was like terrified of everything. And it just is going to put your nervous system in that chronic state of fight or flight. And so it's not benefiting anyone anymore to be in that state. There's a word for it too. It's like orexophobia, or like, oh my God, I might be saying a totally complete different fear phobia thing, but it's like fear of anything that's not healthy for you. And that's like too much, right? We just need to find a nice balance. 80-20 rule. I always say this, 80% of the time, do the best you can, whether that's with your diet, your skin products, your lifestyle, wellness practices, all of that. And 20% of the time, just be human. Like for Christmas, my sister-in-law and brother-in-law got me this like more natural perfume. It does have a couple chemicals in it, but like I like the smell of it and I'm using it and I like it. And in the past, I would have been like, fuck no, I'm not putting that on my body. But like, live your life. Don't live in fear. Do the things you want to do in moderation. Okay. Let's just live in that area. And that concludes the ins and outs for 2025 Holistically Humble Edition. If you have anything to add, let me know in the description of, or in the comment section rather, of the YouTube video if you're watching it. Otherwise, again, on Spotify, and if you can do it on Apple, let me know what your ins and outs are. If anything I said resonated with you, I would love to know. Share this episode with any friends or family that may benefit from it. It helps the algorithm. It helps my information get out there more. I am dedicated to being consistent with this podcast because I love it. I love sharing about health and wellness information. I love talking about health and wellness. And I am going to have some guests on in the near future in the health and wellness realm. And so also, if you are someone who wants to talk about health and wellness, you're a health care professional, a wellness practitioner, anything of that sort, send me a message. Let's connect. Let's see if it aligns and we'll get you on this podcast. But regardless, I hope you have an amazing year. 2025 is an amazing year. We're going to affirm that again. And I'm just happy to have you here and listening and watching this episode. So happy 2025, happy new year, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.